Sending an SMS alarm from one or more digital inputs is a common requirement for many applications, including fault signals from pumping control systems, diesel generator sets, and cool or freezer rooms. The MIO alerta V2 can be used to send SMS alarms from one or more digital inputs to up to 10 phone numbers.
Note that the device can also monitor analog inputs, such as level or temperature sensors, and can also control outputs. However, in this video, we will present a simple example. Sending an SMS alarm when a single dry contact input changes from an open to a closed state.
To trigger digital input 1, a dry contact should be wired between VR and digital input 1. When the contact closes, the input will change from 0 or low to 1 or high. This can be used as an alarm input from, for example, a pumping system. In this example, we will program a unit assuming one alarm input sending to 3 phone numbers, where the reset message should the input return from its alarm state to its normal state. We will use this test system to simulate an alarm from a pumping system. We have wired a switch across VR and digital input 1 with an indicator LED. The system will be in alarm when the switch is active and the indicator LED is on. To program the unit, first connect serial cable to COM port B. We need to use the serial base configuration tool, available on the Australis M2M website. There is also a link in the description below. Upon opening the software, you will be asked if you have an expansion unit. Select the appropriate answer and proceed. In this example, we will be selecting the expansion unit option. After the software opens, the first thing you will need to do is to connect to the correct COM port. Select an option and press Connect. Use this test button to determine if you are getting a response from the device. If it's working, you will see this window pop up. At this point, you can load a default configuration file, or if the unit might have settings in it already, you can read back from the device. I'll read back from the device. If the unit is busy, there may be some errors that show up. If so, after it's finished, try again. Or if problems persist, contact Australis M2M. But you should get a complete readback, at which point all the settings should have loaded to the interface. Once that has set, you generally want to program using the tabs in the order of left to right. This initial page also includes things like time and date settings, which you don't normally need to adjust. However, you might want to use a specific date or time setting in your device. Under System Settings, enter a name for the job. In this example, we've named it Wattle Road Pump. You will need to have a correct APM for the SIM card. We are using a Telstra SIM, so we are using telstra.m2m for the APM. You can check that the SIM is working using the monitor levels and more details tabs. Monitor levels should bring up a chart of the signal condition. Those look okay. More details also bring up information about the SIM, the IMEI and the device, signal strength, and the IP address. We can also check the SIM is able to send SMS messages by putting a phone number in this box and sending a test SMS. If sending a test SMS, you should receive a text like this. In this example, we are assuming we have just one digital input alarm, and we are going to program the device to send that alarm to 2 phone numbers. So firstly, we need to confirm how digital input 1 is set. ST stands for status, which can only be a 1 or a 0. In this case, the scaling, unit, and debound settings are not applicable. Looking at the status, it is currently in state 1, which is on. We'll just turn that off on the test unit. It's now in state 0. Going into alarm settings, we can see that the first alarm channel, LC01, has been linked to digital input 1. We have given the alarm channel the name pump status. We want this to trigger an alarm when it goes high or into state 1. Low is state 0. We have named the alarm message alarm in this example. We have also set a message delay of 5 seconds. We always recommend a delay of at least 1 second. And in this case, we have a reset message, so that we get a message when the input returns to its normal state. We have some phone numbers in the phone book already, and for this example, we are going to send alarm messages to phone numbers 1 and 3. When we tick those, we just have to remember to press set. When we're happy with the alarm settings, we also need to press set. And if we add or change any of these phone numbers, we also need to press set to save the changes to the unit. If you're unsure whether you have set something or not, you can read back from the device, and if you haven't set something, you will see it revert back to default. So now that's all been set, the other thing we want to change under message options. In this case, we want the unit to strip out some information that we don't necessarily want in our SMS messages. We just want the unit ID, the input name, and the alarm text in our message. We don't need the signifier, date, time value, or unit measurement in the alarm. Press set. After we've done that, the unit should be ready to test. I'll clear the window and trigger an alarm. We should see that alarm go out after a 5-second delay. There it goes, and it is sent to 2 different phone numbers. In this case, those were numbers 1 and 3 in the phone. If we clear this terminal now and reset that alarm, we should see the reset messages go out. There we go. There are the reset messages.